Welcome to Project Fast Fish here on Mike's Motorworks, and we have a fresh delivery in from AMD. That means panels and parts are ready to be pulled off Project Fast Fish and replaced. Let's get you up to date. This is how things are currently standing with the car. We have a coat of epoxy sealer on here, and it is a little faded because I did sand it. There were some mistakes that I made on the first coat. I applied a little bit of reducer on there on a hot day and definitely did not need that, so that's a lesson learned there. And so I went ahead and sanded for another coat here. But I'm not going to put the final coat on because we have to replace the cowl. Now, I've covered this information in another episode, but it's worth covering here because today's episode is going to focus on cowl removal, all right, and of course, eventual replacement. So the cowl itself is not bad, okay, but it's not great, okay? But with the amount of time that it's been sitting, it's definitely needing some love. Example, under here, all right, this is rusted out from where all that sand had been sitting from our sandblasting job several years ago. And you can see there's a lot of corrosion up there and what have you. All right, and by removing the cowl, I'll not only be able to take care of this little spot here, okay, but I will also be able to go ahead and assess any kind of rust that has gone through the firewall itself. Alrighty, so we definitely want to make sure there is no leaks in the car once I get this taken care of, because I am going to drive it. And I don't want to be surprised by going, oh look, a leak. I have to take everything off again and do it all over again. We don't want that, alrighty? There's plenty of sand. You can see the buildup here. I've tried blowing it out. I've done it a whole lot of times, but it is what it is, right? Now, in the past, these parts right here, the little corner caps, had rotted out. And it's a common space for these to rot out, okay? No big deal. All right, so we went ahead and added some filler and did some patchwork several years ago and did a pretty poor job at it. And I decided, you know what, it's going to be better to go ahead and take care of this while the vehicle is down in its basic raw shell, and go ahead and replace these entirely. Additionally, you can see in there, you know, there's a lot of, well, rust and such and buildup and such from both the sandblasting process and time. And if you're doing a restoration like this and while it's already off, why not go ahead and replace the cowl? Why not go ahead and get the panel off and get that sealed up so that's no longer a problem spot? And it also gives me a chance to check the ventilation on the other side there. There's a vent way over on the other side, and I'll get a chance to check that out and what have you, okay? Additionally, I got some spots up here that need a little bit of love, so on and so forth. So this panel is going to come off, all right? But as you can see, the side cowls are in great shape now, all right? And I'm finishing up the other side as we speak. Additionally, I am going to replace our top of the A pillar. Now, the bottom of the A pillar is in decent shape, okay? There is no rust spots per se here. As I'm covering here, you can kind of see there is no huge rust through. It looks like it's a little bit thicker gauge materials and such in here, which is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and replace these. I'm going to start that prep work today. Both of these are going to be replaced. So as you can see the panel here, the panel comes down and goes in underneath the cowl itself. So this provides an excellent opportunity while the cowl is off to go ahead and take care of those as well. A little bit of bodywork surgery, and we should be able to make this not quick and easy, but we should be able to get this taken care of, and we're going to document it all on film for you. Now, the parts delivery I received from AMD includes not only the upper A pillars, all right, but it also contains the piece that goes into here, all right, this is completely rotted through. You see me focus on this before, so this piece is going to be replaced here, along with this piece, all righty. And of course, I believe I have some shells coming as well to cover up the shell piece in here. Additionally, I have this piece coming, which is right over the support for the brace here. You can call it like a buttress or something like that, right? Or maybe a B pillar or what have you. But basically, this is a brace that goes up. It's a support for the roof. It goes up to the roof line itself. There's another brace that comes up this way, and I believe, yeah, and the rest of it's supported by the underside package tray. Now, fortunately on this one, the underside package tray is in great shape. All right, yes, there is a lot of rust buildup, but we're gonna take care of that with some rust neutralization. And eventually we are gonna go ahead and replace our wheel wells themselves, because those just need to go. All right, and I have some other work that needs to be done on the bottom, but we'll worry about that at another date, right? So when I'm working on the roof, that's what's getting replaced. Additionally, I received the panel right there. That's actually a two-part panel. It's an upper and a lower brace, right? So I got those coming, got that here as well, coming as well. And then of course there's the middle panel and of course the front panel. And those are coming actually not from AMD, but they're coming from another source, which I was fine with because that's, that's who had them, and those should be arriving today. But what we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and unbox this stuff, and we're gonna repackage it to make sure that all of our stuff came in, make sure our inventory is here as invoiced, all right? And that's an important process that guys don't wanna think about as far as when you make big orders, but it's one of those, hey, dummy, let's do it thing. I can be lazy sometimes, right? And I admit that. Hey, it's all in the box, it's there, it's good. I believe they put everything in there. But, okay, I might have a, hey, dummy, you should have opened it and called them moment if something is not included, all right? So you always want to go through to make sure that your parts have arrived as promised, all right? Yes, they're double and triple checked, I get it, but you still want to check it on your own to make sure everything is arrived. So let's go ahead and take care of that process. In this shipment, okay, I was invoiced, okay, and I ordered 11 different items, okay? Included in those items are an A-pillar, a center bow brace, an upper sail panel, vertical panel post. Two of those. You have a lower sail panel. I should have a outer sail panel, two of those, an upper cowl panel, which is in the big box over here. I should have a, let's see, where was that at? There it is. An outer roof rail, an upper sail rear support, a upper sail, two rear window supports, so left hand, right hand, and of course an upper and outer panel connector roof brace. In other words, all those parts that we just talked about, okay, other than the center roof brace and the front roof brace and what have you, right? So that's what I should currently have in these boxes, a total of 11 items, all right? Now what they did is when I put the order in, okay, there were no large truck shipping items, okay? I was gonna order the roof skin, but I was like, hold up. The shipping is a little bit extra for that, and the roof skin is just gonna sit in the tub, and I didn't want the roof skin to get damaged and have a big box sitting in my container. So I was like, let me just pause on that one. And since that the roof skin is usually available, I went ahead and said, nah, let's hold off on that. And I just wanna get the actual structure together and what have you. Now, as you guys already know, I already have the floor, the rear footwells, okay, the main whole floor, the rear footwell, I got the rear pan seat, I got the rear trunk and the trunk extensions, okay? So those are already ready to go on the vehicle itself, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and open up our first box and see what's in there. And I'm gonna put this in time-lapse mode and kind of rehash things with y'all. Well, unfortunately, it looks like I need to make a phone call. It looks like they sent me 10 of the same items. This is why it's always important to double check when you get your items. I'm gonna check the big box, see what's in there, but in that small box that was just to my right, there were 10 of these in there. So I think what happened was they intended to send one thing out. Somebody said, oh, hey, that's full of these other parts in this other order, and let's just go ahead and get that out. So, oopsie on their part, all right? Let me go ahead and check the other box and let's see what's in there. All right, so the results say that all parts were shipped. a majority of which were in that larger box. And as I said earlier, they sent me 10 of those upper braces, the upper windowsill there. That's, what is that? The outer roof rail. That's part number 1576L. They sent me 10 of those. So I'm gonna go ahead and contact them and figure out how to get those back to them, because those aren't mine. I didn't pay for them, right? And I wanna make sure that the next guy that orders something, when they put the order in, they have it in stock so he can complete his project on time as well, or they can complete their project on time as well. So, with that in mind, I went ahead and ordered some other stuff, and I'm gonna do a quick check on that as well. I should have the other upper A pillar in that box right there. And then today I should be getting an order in, and my brother should contact me about the middle braces. So everything came in as expected. All right, so playing in the background, you see a couple things going on here, right? First thing I've done is I went ahead and took the wire wheel and stripped off all of the epoxy sealer that was on just the lip of the cowl where the spot welds are, okay? And once I got that done, that allowed me to easily see where the spot welds were, okay? And allowed me to punch those out and drill those out, okay? Pretty easy. And then what I did is I went ahead and took the cutoff wheel and started grinding on the top and the bottom. Now I do have a plasma cutter at my disposal. Thank you very much to Pop for that. That was a birthday gift for both John and myself so that we could be productive in our projects here in the shop, okay? So we're definitely grateful to have that plasma cutter, but I'm still learning how to use it. I didn't want to get it too deep in there and start cutting things I didn't need to be cutting, so I decided to use the cutoff wheel instead. No big, I got a couple of discs available to me, right? And I'm being very, very careful and cautious where I'm cutting. So I'm going to continue to let the video play in the background and let you guys enjoy some background music, okay? And then I'll catch up with you here shortly. The tricky part is the top lip of the cowl itself, where it gets into the windshield deck itself, okay? And that is actually, when you compare it with the one from AMD, and you can kind of see how things go, you could actually get away with cutting that lower portion where the windshield sits itself, okay? So you got your lower portion and the windshield itself, all right? Not the back one, but the forward one where it kind of raises up a little bit. You could actually cut that out really close and then go back through and then get that out with the spot welds and what have you, pulling that panel off there, okay? It is going to take some work, and you got to be really, really careful because you are dealing with the firewall, and you don't want to damage the firewall as you're doing things here, so you want to be really, really careful and cautious. And so after taking care of all the spot welds, after getting everything ground off, it took a little bit of work to get the cowl itself off, but once it was off, and all the other brackets and such were taken care of, it made easy work for everything else. Now, what you'll also see me do is where the braces and brackets are, I'm being really careful about those spots because I want to save those braces and those brackets because I will be using these later on, okay? And while I am going to provide some additional stiffening and support through other means, okay, I did not want to damage those. Additionally, that bracket on the top where it goes from the apron to the cowl, that's another few bucks that I have to fork out. So I'm hoping to save and salvage those so I don't have to fork out that later, and it's an easy weld to put that back on there, right? So that's it for today, folks. As far as what's next, I'm not going to capture this part on film, but I need to clean this firewall up. That includes descaling, getting all the extra crap off there, like the old seam sealer, this stuff right here, that's got to go. And of course, take a look to see where my rust holes are. So what I'm going to do is take the angle grinder, put the wire brush cup on there. You've seen me do this on another episode, and descale everything. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and take the flap wheel grinder and go ahead and take care of all these little cutouts where the spot welds were. At which point I'll be able to go through with the hammer and dolly, fix some dents, look at and assess to see where the rust holes are, if I need to make any quick patches, or if I could just do some plugs with the spot weld and the little copper plate, backing plate there, and get those smoothed out and get ready to prep to get the cowl back on there. Now before the cowl goes back on, okay, the corners of the firewall up in the upper where the A-frames are and the A-pillars, those need to come forward and off so I can get the new A-pillars on there. And that's going to be what another episode is here on Mike's Motor Works, all right? So the next time you'll see this, I should have everything prepped and ready as far as putting the cowl back on, and I will follow up there. And of course, there'll be another follow-up episode for the A-pillars. We'll catch you on the next episode.